Welcome back to Beyond World is One. Thank you so much for staying with us. My name is Hemkaur Saroy and here's what we've lined up for you on Speed News today. Israel has accepted a US brokered proposal for a temporary ceasefire with Hamas. According to the White House, the plan presented by US President Donald Trump's Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff includes a 60-day halt in fighting, release of hostages and prisoners, and humanitarian aid to Gaza. According to reports, Hamas is reviewing the proposal, though senior officials claim that the terms don't meet the group's demands, particularly regarding a permanent ceasefire and full Israeli withdrawal. The Islamic State group claimed in its first attack on Syria's new government forces. According to the intelligence group and the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, Islamic State stated that it planted an explosive device targeting a Syrian forces vehicle in the Sweda province. Earlier, a remote-controlled landmine hit a Syrian army patrol in the desert area, killing one person and injuring 3 members of the 70th Division. This incident marks the first claimed attack on Syria's new government, since the fall of the long-time President Bashar al-Assad. A US federal judge extended a temporary restraining order blocking the Trump administration's policy to prevent Harvard University from enrolling international students. The order remains in place while parties confer and submit proposed orders for the judge to consider. The administration had announced revocation of Harvard's certification under the Student and Exchange Visitor Program, but later gave Harvard 30 days to contest the policy, marking a potential shift in its stance. US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth met with Australian Defense Minister Richard Marles ahead of the Shangri-La dialogue in Singapore. The meeting follows Pentagon official urging for Australia to increase its defense spending to 3% of its GDP. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese announced a planned increase to 2.4% of the GDP, focusing on regional capability and relationships. US Defense Chief Hegseth meets Australian counterpart next in Singapore. French President Emmanuel Macron met with Singaporean Prime Minister Lawrence Wong on the sidelines of the Shangri-La Dialogue, a major security forum in Asia. During their meeting, Macron declared a new era in France-Singapore relations, highlighting collaboration in areas such as artificial intelligence, sustainable development, and economic cooperation. In a bid to reduce waste and curb youth vaping, the UK government has announced a ban on single-use vapes effective from the 1st of June. The ban will prohibit the sale, supply and stocking of disposable vapes in stores and online. According to the government statement, the use of vapes has tripled among children recently. It says 9% of the youngsters aged between 11 and 15 are now using vapes. Vapes have been introduced as a safer alternative to burning tobacco for smokers, but the government fears the disposable products are having an impact on children's health. Adults who want to use vapes as a tool to quit smoking will still be able to access vape kits. Around 5.1 million people over the age of 16 use e-cigarettes in Britain, according to the Office for National Statistics' latest figures. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un recently held a military meeting and observed an artillery exercise, as reported by the country's state media KCNA. This development comes amid heightened tensions with the US and South Korea since the trilateral security partnership between the US, South Korea and Japan was established. Kim has expressed concerns that this partnership poses a significant threat to North Korea's security and has vowed to bolster its nuclear program. China has signed a convention establishing an international mediation organization in Hong Kong, aiming to position the city as a premier dispute resolution hub. The move is expected to enhance Hong Kong's international credentials and bring substantial economic benefits, job opportunities, and stimulate sectors like hospitality and transport. The organization is envisioned to be on par with the International Court of Justice and the Permanent Court of Arbitration. This development comes amid escalating trade tensions between China and the US, which have impacted global commerce and supply chains. Hong Kong's leader, John Lee, believes the mediation body will cement the city's presence as a top center for resolving international disputes, boosting its economic prospects. Thousands of resident doctors in Buenos Aires protested for better wages and working conditions. Thousands of protesters walked through the city, headed towards the health ministry, where police guarded the nearby streets. Doctors claim that first-year residents are making close to $673 per month, despite working 60 to 70 hours a week. The government disputes claims of underfunding, suggesting funds are misused to inflate staff numbers. This protest is part of a larger wave of demonstrations led by medical workers in response to budget cuts implemented under President Javier Milei's administration. And these cuts have sparked concerns about the impact on public health services and the well-being of healthcare professionals. Disability advocates in Argentina held nationwide protests against severe government cutbacks that have exacerbated years of underfunding. They demanded the advancement of the Disability Emergency Bill to address the sector's financial crisis, update the national fee schedule, and to resolve issues with delayed audits and pension approvals. Protests took place in major cities including Buenos Aires, Mendoza, and Cordoba. A tragic incident unfolded in Mexico's border city of Reynosa, where 5 members of the regional music band Grupo Fugitivo were found dead. The band members went missing on the 25th, prompting widespread protests. Various regional music bands protested at the international bridge between Reynosa and Texas, demanding authorities to find then missing Grupo Fugitivo band members. The band's abandoned vehicle was later discovered on the 27th, and according to local authorities, the musicians were likely kidnapped and taken to a building before being killed. Authorities say they've made significant progress in the investigation, arresting 9 suspects affiliated with the Clan del Golfo cartel. Venezuela's Vice President Delcy Rodriguez has announced that the country's oil production remains unaffected by the recent reinstatement of US sanctions on multinationals operating in Venezuela. The oil fields are reportedly operating at full capacity, with state-owned oil company PDVSA maintaining production plans. Venezuela's crude oil production has been averaging around 856,000 barrels a day in 2024, which is a 14% increase from 2023. According to OPEC figures, Venezuela is the third largest supplier of oil to the United States, behind Canada and Mexico, according to the Energy Information Agency. The Indian Met Department has warned of widespread thunderstorms with gusty winds over several parts of northwest India for the next 4 to 5 days, with an orange alert issued for Delhi today, accompanied by thunderstorms and gusty winds reaching up to 70 kilometers per hour. Heavy rainfall is predicted in Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, while light to moderate rainfall is expected in Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan. Wildfires in Western Canada spread to the second province, Saskatchewan, which has declared a state of emergency as 17 wildfires rage uncontrollably and 15 communities evacuated. Large clouds of smoke were seen rising around Weirquin as wildfires raged, with similar scenes seen a day prior. 17,000 people have been asked to flee wildfires in the neighboring province of Manitoba. The US dollar softened and is heading for its fifth straight monthly decline as traders braced for further bouts of uncertainty around trade and fiscal health, while investors awaited a pivotal inflation report later in the day. The greenback had a choppy week, ending low in the previous session after a federal court temporarily reinstated the most sweeping of Trump's tariffs. Trump on Thursday criticized the trade court's decision and said that he hoped the Supreme Court would overturn the decision. The uncertainty around tariffs has taken a vice-like grip on the markets as investors flee US assets looking for alternatives. Thursday's weekly jobless claims and economic growth data did little to placate worries of an economic downturn. Australian retail sales slipped unexpectedly in April as warm weather hit spending on winter clothing. Data while department stores suffered for a dearth of discounting events and further evidence of a cautious consumer. The weakness came despite lower borrowing costs and cooling in inflation, supporting investor wagers for a further cut in interest rates when the Reserve Bank of Australia next meets in July. Food, clothing and department stores all saw falls, while household goods and eating out had a better month due in part to catch-up spending and Queensland following widespread floods. Not helping the mood has been the wild swings in financial markets of recent weeks as US President Donald Trump's tariff plans darkened the global economic outlook. Core inflation in Japan's capital hit a more than 2-year high on persistent rises in food costs, keeping the central bank under pressure to hike interest rates further. But factory output slid in April in a sign manufacturers are feeling the pinch from slowing global demand, highlighting the dilemma the Bank of Japan faces in balancing inflationary pressures and the hit to the economy from steep US tariffs. The Tokyo Core Consumer Price Index, which excludes volatile fresh food costs, rose 3.6% in May from a year prior, It was the fastest annual pace of increase since January 2023, when it hit 4.3%. Oil prices were on track for a second consecutive weekly decline, weighed down by expectations of another OPEC Plus output hike in July and fresh uncertainty after the latest legal twist kept up US President Donald Trump's tariffs in place. Brent crude futures slipped 0.48% to $63.84 a barrel by 4:24 a.m. GMT. US oil fell 0.51% to $60.63 a barrel. Both contracts have fallen 1.5% so far this week. The downward trajectory largely stemmed from the prospect of rising supplies, as investors priced in another hike by the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and its allies. The 8-member bloc meets on Saturday. Royal Challengers Bengaluru are one match from a first IPL title after sealing a place in the final within 8-wicket thrashing of Punjab Kings. Kings batted dismally and were bowled out for 101 in 14.1 overs. Spinner Suyash Sharma and seamer Josh Hazlewood took 3 wickets each. RCB chased down their low target with half the innings to spare to reach the first final since 2016.